Hello friends and welcome into the Cowboys Report. I am your host Tom Downey. You can follow me on Twitter at WhatGoingDowney for all kinds of extra Cowboys coverage. We dive in though to some rumors and news around the Cowboys, especially on the injury report side of things. Now, this had been initially reported for Leighton Vander Esch as a knee issue. It's not accurate. He missed Wednesday's practice and he should miss today's practice as well with an illness. He's going to be fine. I know there was some initial freak out when we saw knee issue. Leighton Vander Esch, I get why, wasn't accurate. He was not at Wednesday's practice, probably not going to be at today's practice either because of that illness. He'll be fine though. Of course, I'm referring to his illness. His play, however, not so fine last week. He does need to be better if the Cowboys are going to beat the Jets and, more importantly, the Eagles in Week 7. All right, guys, do us a favor. Get us to 50K. Well, I guess do me a favor. Otherwise, I'm going on a holdout. I'll go to Cabo. I'll be like Zeke, and I won't be here in mid-December. We are at 37 and some change right now on the Cowboys Report. But get us to 50K. The link there is below if you're watching on Facebook. But if you're watching on YouTube, like I'm sure most of you are right now, just hit that big red button. It's youtube.com/Dallas Cowboys Report. We will, of course, have highlights for you after the Jets game ends, assuming the Cowboys win, which they absolutely should win. All right, some more injury notes here. This is the overall Cowboys injury report right now. I'm not including players like Tavon Austin and Tony Pollard who have injuries, but they were full participants in practice on Wednesday, i.e., they're going to be fine. Amari Cooper, again, probable is not a designation in the NFL anymore, but just to provide an insight, I'm still going to include it. He was limited in practice with an ankle and a quad issue. He'll be fine. Tyrone Crawford played last week. He should be good to go as he recovers from a nagging, maybe the best word for it, hip injury. Zach Martin, also kind of that nagging back problem. He should be good to go against New York. Antoine Woods, limited in practice on Wednesday. Could see something similar today on Thursday. I'll put him as questionable, but if I'm going one way or the other, I think he makes his return to the Cowboys against the Jets. More on the Cowboys' run defense here in a little bit. Then the two big ones. La'el Collins, he's got a knee issue. Tyron Smith, he's got an ankle issue there. Leighton Vander Esch, he's probable. I'm not worried about him, but of course he did not practice on Wednesday. All three of these players should not practice today on Thursday, but we'll break down mostly Collins and Smith's chances of playing here in a little bit. But first, today's show is brought to you by BetDSI. Go check them out. It's chatsports.com/bet. Get in on the betting action using that promo code Cowboys120. If you were like me, you made money for the Cowboys' first 3 games of the year. If you're also like me, you lost money the past 2 weeks, but that promo code gets you a 120% deposit bonus. So if you put down $50 to bet on BetDSI, they're going to give you $60 for free. So in case you get some bets wrong, you still got some room for air. It's chatsports.com/bet. Use that promo code Cowboys120 on BetDSI, the best sports book out there. On to Tyron Smith here, the notable one. Per Mike Fisher, the Cowboys believe Smith will play, quote, almost no matter what. Regardless of what he's able to do on today's practice, he should be out. He was out Wednesday and Friday as well. So that's optimistic. I think that's a good sign there for Tyron Smith. It is by no means a guarantee. We'll see how the ankle issue develops in rehab right now for Smith. But look, he's kind of a superhuman. Like, people that size should not have that minor of an injury when you get your ankle rolled up like he did there. That's a good sign for Tyron Smith. If I'm guessing right now, and of course we are guessing because it's Thursday morning here, I think he plays. But is that the best idea for Tyron and the Cowboys? Let me know in the comments section if you think the Dallas Cowboys should just rest Tyron Smith against the New York Jets. Now, we're allowed to overlook an opponent because the Jets are bad at football. The Cowboys aren't allowed to. If they do, that's all on Jason Garrett. But I think there is an argument here for, maybe we should just rest Tyron Smith instead of outright playing him. Let me know what you guys think. Type R for rest and P for play. I'm sure some of you are disappointed that we are not live right now on YouTube. That's because we're doing something a little bit different tonight. We have the Texas-Oklahoma Red River Celebrity Softball game live on Chat Sports on the main YouTube channel. youtube.com/chatsportstv/live. That starts 8 p.m. Eastern Time tonight. That's 7 p.m. Central here in Frisco. So if you're in the area, come out to the game. And if you're not, well, tune in. Roger Clemens among the notable players who are going to be involved in this one. Ricky Williams also going to be playing. Bob Stoops will be there as well. So if you're in Frisco, come on out. If you are not, tune in to me and Harrison Graham on the call. It's youtube.com/chatsportstv/live. On now to the other offensive lineman for the Dallas Cowboys, La'el Collins. Not so much optimism around this one, at least for this upcoming week, again, per Mike Fisher. The optimism is shrinking because his knee is still a bit of an issue. That's not a huge surprise to me. I didn't feel great about a right tackle coming off a sprained MCL being able to go. So I know the Cowboys are optimistic still, but there is a much tougher path to playing time for La'el Collins. If this was the playoffs, I think it'd be a different discussion, but it's the Jets. You don't have to rush guys back and risk further injury. So as we sit right now, your interior is fine. Will Frederick, Zach Martin, those guys are going to be able to go. It's the tackles that are the question mark. Now, if Tyron Smith can't go, obviously Cam Fleming remains your left tackle. That's what the Cowboys are practicing. That's what their mindset is. Where things get interesting, though, and where you could see some shuffling is, well, what if Tyron's able to play, but what if La'el Collins is not? Who then becomes your right tackle? You do have some options here. The most unlikely one that's not going to happen is you shuffle Connor Williams over to right tackle, but the mindset there is, why get yourself worse at two positions as opposed to just one? You're better off leaving Will there. Now, at right tackle then, it's really a two-man race. Is it Cam Fleming, who is your swing tackle, or is it Brandon Knight, who, quite frankly, was about as good as you could have hoped for last week for the Cowboys, coming in for La'el Collins in his first NFL game action? So let me know in the comments section, who do you want at right tackle? I think there is an argument here for both. Cam Fleming has been working as the left tackle in practice this week. Brandon Knight's been working as the right tackle. Knight has those practice reps there. That is important. But Cam Fleming, yes, frankly, was maybe a little bit worse than Brandon Knight was last week, but that's also left tackle versus right tackle. As a couple of our astute YouTube commenters pointed out, Cam Fleming is a better right tackle. That's fairly common for most tackles in the NFL. So let me know in the comment section, who do you want at right tackle? Give me a K for Knight or an F for Fleming. It all depends on if Tyron Smith is able to go. I think I'd go with Cam Fleming, though, but I definitely have Brandon Knight on standby just in case Fleming has some issues at right tackle, if, of course, Smith is able to play this week. Let's move on now to the run defense. Then we'll get to the ground game, because let's talk about the trenches here. That's the theme of today's show. We are all in agreement. The Cowboys' run defense has to be better. And I know the raw numbers look okay. They're 13th in rush yards per game. They're 14th in yards per carry. But it looks and feels worse than that, right? It doesn't feel like the Cowboys have an above-average run defense. And frankly, there have simply been too many missed tackles and blown assignments. So there are two areas that I am looking at here. Number one, that is on the defensive line. Now, make no mistake, getting Antwaun Woods back, who is the closest thing the Cowboys have to a true run clogger, no disrespect to Chris Covington, he's been fine, but he's not Antwaun Woods. And the Cowboys clearly have missed Antwaun Woods. He was not healthy in the Rams game. It showed. He's missed some time the past few games. It shows. The big problem, though, on the defensive line has actually been the three technique position. Malik Collins has not been good enough. He's been getting gashed in the run game, losing his gap assignment and the gap integrity. That's key for the Cowboys' run defense. As Jerry Jones and Stephen Jones have said, that has to be better. Malik Collins needs to up his game in a contract year. Another big thing, missed tackles. Kind of been a problem this year for the Dallas Cowboys per Pro Football Focus. Here are the, I don't know if leaders is even the right word, but the most missed tackles among the Dallas Cowboys. Leighton Vander Esch has 7 in 5 games. That's bad. Xavier Woods, guilty of some bad angles. He's got 6. Anthony Brown has been very bad there at cornerback. Jalen Smith, I thought, was better than LVE, but kind of been the opposite earlier on this season. And even Sean Lee, who does not look like himself, has 3 missed tackles and far fewer snaps than those guys ahead of him. Speaking of Anthony Brown, can we spam this in the comments section for me? I want everyone to type in free Jordan. He's a better tackler. He's equal in coverage as Anthony Brown at worst, and has shown a better propensity for making plays on the football. I don't know why Jordan Lewis isn't playing. I just don't understand it. So spam the hashtag FreeJordan for me in the comment section. He's got to be out there as the nickel corner. I just think, no disrespect to Anthony Brown, but Jordan Lewis is a better player than Anthony Brown. I think that's been the case for several years now. I'm waiting for Chris Richard to see that and make a similar move as well. All right, guys, today's show is also brought to you by FanDuel. Head over to FanDuel.com/chatsports. Maybe your fantasy season has not gone according to plan. I know several people who have drafted players like A.J. Green and Saquon Barkley and Tyreek Hill and Lamar Miller, and it's been a disaster. That's the case. Get your money back on FanDuel. You get $20 free with your first $20 deposit. FanDuel is the leader in daily fantasy sports. Go to that link, FanDuel.com/chatsports. Get yourself some extra money. You play those smaller money games with a lot of people. Got to finish in the above average. You will make money on FanDuel. FanDuel.com/chatsports. Last one here, as I'll try not to get angry today. Ed Warner says the Cowboys' problem against the Packers was that they didn't establish the run. Here's the thing about establishing the run. Yes, you want to run the football. I'm not going to argue against never running the football. But establishing the run is not really a thing anymore. Not in today's NFL. A good ground game averages what? 6 yards per carry. That's an elite day. The passing game, if it's an elite day, can average 12. Heck, Dak's averaging almost 10 this year. So I'm not saying don't run the football, but the lack of establishment of the run is not the reason that Zeke did not get involved. That was a negative game script. It's funny how the narrative was against the Saints was bad game plan, tried to run the football too much, which I thought was accurate. Now all of a sudden it's didn't run the football enough. The truth lies somewhere in the middle, and if you don't believe me, you can believe Ezekiel Elliott. Here's what he said on his usage. Quote, "I'm not really concerned about the touches. I'm just concerned about us figuring out how to get things right on offense. Biggest thing is we're moving the ball, we're just shooting ourselves in the foot, doing a lot of dumb things, penalties, things we can't have, killing our momentum." He means turnovers there, by the way. The lie detector results are in on this quote. No lies detected. Zeke is spot on here. And then on the offense in general, we've just got to get our edge back. We've got to go out there and play like us. We've got to go out there and play fast. We've got to run, got to play physical football, got to hit those guys, and just get back to our identity. It's funny, right? And then this is just the nature of sports in general. Things are going great. The first 3 games, Cowboys didn't establish anything on the ground. They used early down play action and ran the ball late in games. The solution here is to establish early leads. Now, I'm not saying the game planning has been flawless. For example, especially once the tackles come back, where are the outside runs? I like to see those. What happened to the outside zone stretch play? The toss play. Pull your athletic guards. I think that's a good idea there. Cowboys have been a little bit too focused on we're just going to go up the gut a lot. I think that's been a problem, especially against the Saints in particular for the Dallas Cowboys. But this kind of feels like that one stat, whatever it exactly is, when Zeke gets so many carries, let's just say 25, the Cowboys like 15-2, which is accurate, but there's no such thing as the 30 carries equals auto win. It's the game script. There's correlation there, but not causation. So yes, you want Zeke to get going, but the game plan last week was not the issue. Zeke's right. The Cowboys moved the football effectively. They just turned it over. Now, some of that's on Dak, on Amari, on the refs not calling a great game. But the establish the run, it's not how things work anymore. You still want to run the football with Zeke, but don't just hand it off over and over again. That was the problem against the Saints, for example. Now, I do think Zeke has a great game against the New York Jets. So let me know in the comments section, how many rushing yards is Zeke going to have against New York this week? Let me know in the comments section. I think he's a great play on FanDuel, by the way. I'll put the over-under at 102.5. I think Zeke goes for 100 yards this week. So let me know in the comments section, how many rushing yards does Zeke have this week? Hey Cowboys fans, thanks for watching the Cowboys Report. If you haven't already, click right here to subscribe to our channel for all the best Cowboys coverage on the internet. That's news, rumors, highlights, mailbags, film studies, and a whole lot more. And I'm making your lives a little bit easier as well with the next Cowboys Report video right here.